Now that we're back, welcome back to some more Stormworks. I'm StormRunner Gaming, and today we have a really small boat that I have just finished creating here that I actually did drop on the workshop if you do want to grab it. Anyway, it is a small 32-foot sailboat, and for Europeans and basically the rest of the world, it's actually 10.5 meters. And this is a very small boat size, and it was a spur of the moment type of build because I was a little bit bored with my modern yacht project there. So I challenged myself to see how much boat I could actually fit within a really small size. And I was just going for the length size. And at 10.5 meters, it is a very small boat, but you'll be surprised how much I've actually fit within it. So let's go and drop it into the water. As you can see, we have branded the Cruel Sea name on the back end of the boat, and with the back deck of it we have the main helm with a bunch of different controls for everything, as well as plenty of seating for guests and whatnot. We do have a engine on board with all the controls you need here, as well as a couple other luxuries, propeller flaps, whatnot, and just basic controls being thrown around here. One of the cool things I did do with this sailboat is you can rotate the mast left and right with these two winches just by holding down these two buttons here. I'm not going to play around with that too much right now. We do also have a camera on the front of the boat just so that it helps you see a little bit more from the helm here. As well, we do have an anchor with the controls right here. And the sad part about the anchor is you do have to walk up here and kind of push it off to make it work. Of course, it has all the proper lighting as well as the mast light up there. Sadly, we do not have sails for boats yet, but hopefully in the future we will get some sails. And now I'm going to work into the interior here, and we've got a light button. You have to be careful. These stairs can be a little bit finicky from time to time. We kind of just got to push them back into place. And some people might be weirded out by these stairs, but there's actually a really cool reason why they are a little bit wobbly, and I'll get to that in a minute. We do have a bunch of different controls around here, and if you do want to stop that depth alarm, you can just click that button here. But actually, the depth alarm I think is set to 3 meters, so when you are sitting in the dock, it's not going to be going off. It's just when you get really close to shore or any other, I guess, low depth area. Of course, we do have the little galley over here with 2 seats and a modern glass table, a little bit of extra storage as well as a seat over here, and then the shelving here. And of course, we do have a full kitchen with working oven and stove here that you can turn on with that screen there and turn that off, and a faucet, as well as just a little bit more storage with the cabinets around here. As we move on, this boat does come with a keel that can be lowered. So currently the keel is sitting in its current location right now, pretty close to the hull. And if you hit this with a negative value, it'll start to lower down, giving the boat a much better stability, especially in very rough weather, because it is a very small boat in Stormworks terms. So if you are going to throw it into a storm, to give it the best shot of basically not tipping over, I would suggest putting that keel down so that it, I guess, has a better fighting chance. But make sure you do put it back up to somewhere close to 0, because it'll be using more power the more you have it away from that 0 point. And yeah, I'll get to those controls in a minute. Let's go on to the full bathroom in here. And this actually does double as a shower in here. But of course you have a sink with mirror on this side and a nice little toilet. And then the shower, I mean, you do want to have a little bit of privacy in here while taking a shower, even if you are out at sea, but especially when you are in the marina. So we do have some window blinds you can put down while taking a shower in here. So yeah, that was a pretty cool addition, and all it is just some folding blocks over the window that come from the top there. So let's turn that shower off and get out of the little bathroom. Let's close that door down. Actually, I'm going to turn those lights off for now. Well, anyway, we do have, of course, lights in the bedroom as well, but 2 beds, as well as a lot more storage actually, and some built-in storage around the edge made out of some nice wood here as well. And there's not too much to tell about this bedroom in here. I mean, you do have a little bit of window space here, as well as an exit from the top with that handle right there. So let's jump back out to the main part of the boat here and let's get on our way. But actually, I almost forgot about all these dials. Of course, we do have a wind speed meter, the depth warning light, as well as the alarm down here. And we also have a battery meter. And then if you do start to take on water at all, we have bilge pumps, well, basically just drains located around the boat for you to use whenever they may be needed. Of course, these stairs, the last thing I'm getting to here, I'm going to pull them away out of the way of what I'm trying to do here, just pushing them into that kitchen. You can also store them under this table, but it's just easier to throw them over to the kitchen right now. And if we click this engine access button, it actually slides back this panel and allows you to access this engine for basically maintenance and whatnot for, I mean, an actual boat. In reality, Stormworks, there's not much you need to do to this engine right now, so this is kind of more of a aesthetically pleasing feature for us, more so than something that actually needs to be there. But I thought it was a really cool addition that actually is on a lot of sailboats of this size, because the engine is usually located under these steps. You do kind of have to, there's no other better term, but to kind of fight with the stairs here to actually get them back into place. But yeah, I'm just going to jump out of there for right now. It's not the best design, but I mean, it does work pretty well. And as you can see right now, I'm putting down those propeller flaps because that is the best version of running this boat. And it's got pretty basic engine controls. You hit 1 while holding up W, and of course the throttle, clutch, everything on this except for the turning is a sticky mode, so you can just press W and have it hit the max RPMs and it'll stay there. And then we can use our up and down to control that clutch there. As you can see, we do need to give it a little bit more engine throttle, but this thing does seem to tap out, well, top speed taps out around 11 to 12 meters per second, especially depending on the weather. And if you do get some pretty bad weather here, it can be pretty bad out on the open sea because, of course, it's a 32-foot boat. I really like this little project, and I've been having a lot of fun designing some things for it, and I may be making some changes to it in the future, but for right now, I like where it sits. I mean, it's a little bit weird to drive around sometimes, especially in weather. It can get, the back end can just be washed over, and I can show you real quick, just throwing the wind to 100%, what happens. If I do leave my throttle on 100%, we might actually tip over, I think. But these waves are crazy strong to the hull of this boat, yanking it back and forth with a lot of power. I think we should turn down our engine speed, or at least the clutch a little bit more, so that we don't get as much. But we're going to get some crazy waves, some large waves, and you can already see that water hitting the back end of the boat here, and the front end dipping in. It's trying to keep its footing, especially with that keel already lowered into the water, but you can only do so much with a really small boat of this size. And these waves aren't even the huge ocean waves, and you can already see our little guy getting at least a little bit wet from the waves and whatnot. And if you do decide to put it at full throttle while this, I mean, you can jump the waves, but after coming off the waves, you're gonna splash back down and get a lot more water on the captain of the boat as well as your passengers. But I mean, even if you are in full weather, it still can go at full speed here. Of course, that top speed does waver depending if you are slamming back down into the water because of the waves and whatnot throwing you off course. One of the bigger things I have found with a little bit of a problem with it right now it does get thrown around so much in weather and whatnot. If you do download it and take it out to see yourself, you'll see, even especially at slower speeds, if you point it in one direction, your course will kind of be altered if you don't pay attention to it. So yeah, that's something. It's just the waves push it around so much. This is my 32-foot sailboat. I have christened Cruel Sea. Fair warning, it doesn't take waves too well. If you do want to throw it out into a tsunami or 100% waves, just be careful with it. I think I have tipped it over once or twice, but it usually will self-right itself just because of that dropping keel there. But I guess just be careful with it out on that open ocean. But yeah, of course, if you do want to download, that link is down below. But of course, if you guys did like this, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to stay up with Stormworks and more of my content. But I've never been great at goodbye, so people need me, and I need to go.